Preparing to live stream. Got it. Setting up your meeting.
Hello. Welcome to Friends and Fiction Official Book Club Takeover. Happy Wednesday night. My name is Kristen Harmel. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My name is Lisa Harrison, and I'm the co-host of the Friends and Fiction Official Book Club with my beautiful co-host, Brenda, who's right here with me. And for those of you that don't know, we run the book club, the Friends and Fiction Official Book Club, which was a nice spinoff from this glorious community called Friends and Fiction that has over 78,000 members. Isn't that crazy? So tonight, we gave the Fab Four the night off, and you will be hanging out with a new fearsome foursome, myself, Brenda, Meg Walker, who's the managing director of Friends and Fiction, and our favorite podcast host and our happy hour co-host, Ron Block. So tonight, we're going to have book recommendations. We're going to get a sneak peek of the fall Friends and Fiction lineup, podcast scoop. We may have a giveaway, and Brenda and I will be announcing our October, November, and December picks. So we have a glorious evening planned for you, and we are taking over like no other. So Brenda, would you like to bring in the two other members of the fearsome foursome?
I would. Let me introduce Marvelous Meg first. Marvelous Meg is the president and director of marketing at Tandem Literary, an independent marketing and PR firm for authors and publishers that she owns with Gretchen Koss. Prior to starting her own firm, Meg spent 17 years in marketing positions in-house at Random House, Penguin, and Prentice Hall, working with best-selling authors. Tandem Literary opened in spring 2009 with an author we all love, Mary Kay Andrews, as its first official client. In addition to those clients, since summer 2020, Meg serves as managing director for Friends and Fiction, overseeing guest booking, sponsorships, PR promotion, and events. Welcome, Meg.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Yay! Hi, Meg.
Nice to see everybody.
So our fearsome foursome wouldn't be complete without Rockin' Ron, branch manager in the Cuyahoga County Public Library System in Cleveland, Ohio. His passion for libraries, reading, and cooking have fueled non-traditional library programs and community collaborations. He was named a 2020 Library Journal Mover and Shaker and serves as a judge for the James Beard Cookbook Awards. Since June of 2021, Ron has been a host on the Friends and Fiction Writers Block podcast, and of course, our happy hour co-host as well. Hey, Ron.
Yay!
Hey, rock
Fearsome
and
foursome is complete. Cheers, everyone.
We got a lot of people tuning in already.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for
That
showing
is awesome.
We hope you guys have your cocktails and mocktails out there. And if you have any questions for Ron or Meg, leave them in the comment section and we'll try to pull some live throughout the evening.
Thanks so much. Shall we get started with just a little peek at what our beverages of choice are?
Yes.
I guess I will start since I brought it up. I'm drinking a mocktail tonight. This is my fearsome foursome Big Fizz.
I love it.
And it is fig with muddled with brown sugar and mint leaves and ginger ale. So cheers, that's my beverage.
Nice.
How about you, Lisa?
I have a blackberry pineapple Moscow Mule. It's made with pineapple vodka, and I have some frozen blackberries that are floating around, kind of like they were frozen. They're slowly thawing out. And I use diet ginger beer instead of regular ginger beer, and it's delicious.
Looks delicious.
Yum. Meg, what about you?
So I'm boring because I am running around like a nut today and didn't have time to make any kind of artisanal cocktail, but I am drinking a glass of Vino Verde, and this is a tribute to Woodson Harvey. um, now I've been in a restaurant with her when she has ordered Vino Verde and then sent it back because she didn't like it. It was too sweet or it wasn't fizzy. And I know because Vino Verde is like, it can be gross, but the ones that are good are really good. And so when we
Yeah.
got back, latest Friends in Fiction trip to Delaware, I texted her a picture of this bottle and I was like, this is a good one, Christy. Write this one down and keep it in your photos on your phone.
Yeah.
Cheers to the Vino
I love
Verde.
it. I love
Cheers.
it.
I love that. I've had a
Yeah, I
I've
love
had
that,
a gross
Meg.
glass I've had a gross glass before and it can be really gross.
It can be like really sugary and sweet and nasty.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no.
it's dry. It's got a little bit of a tiny bit of fizz to it. It's nice.
And
That's right.
what happy hour wouldn't be complete if I didn't do a cocktail demo, right? Right?
Of course.
So
My
tonight
favorite part.
is something super simple. It's something that's extremely refreshing, especially here in Cleveland where it hit 100 degrees today. Not
Oh.
kidding. 100. Ah. Anyway, so I'm making a Texas ranch water, and I'm adding a little zing on the traditional recipe. So I'm starting out with my glass and a couple of jalapeno slices, and I'm just going to muddle them up a little bit, and mush them in the glass. Add my ice cube,
Well,
and
look at
then
big one ice cube.
Those are the best ice cubes.
aren't they
I love a
great?
drink with the big ice cube in it.
Yes, it's great with bourbon. They're perfect with bourbon. And then
Ah.
you have to use silver or blanco tequila. It's 2 shots of that. Then a shot and a half of fresh squeezed lime juice.
Ooh. Me and Meg are drooling.
Oh my God. Peter, make me one.
And then we top it off with good old Topo Chico. So that's pretty much available. Coca-Cola Company took over last year. I don't know if you remember, you couldn't find it anywhere. But now it is in most every store. And this one has a taste of lime in it too. So it just adds a little bit more lime to it.
Ooh.
And just give it a little stir.
Mm.
Throw in a lime wedge. And another
I'm
little
looking like I can see that.
jalapeno.
I know.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers. That is the
Oh.
best.
As always, I'll post it afterwards. I'll post it
Please
afterwards.
do.
fabulous.
And Meg, we have a couple of people in the chat that asked you to hold the wine bottle up again.
Okay.
They want to see it.
Portuguese. Can you read that? It's
Mhm.
Moros Antigos.
Oh.
Yum.
And Escola, I think I can't tell which is the region, which is the grape, and which is the maker, but whatever. It's a Vino Verde. It's from Portugal. It's super reasonably priced. And it's like a really good, like crisp, refreshing summer white one. Woohoo.
Kristen Harmel says hi, and I know
Hello.
Mary Kay is watching. So hi, we
Hi.
love you guys.
They just can't stay away, can they?
Yeah, stay away. No, they're supposed to be off.
Yeah, you're supposed to be up
Oh,
tonight.
they're relaxing, I'm sure, and well deserved.
That's true.
I think Kristen liked Rockin' Ron. I think she liked Rockin' Ron. So that might stick.
That may stick. Yeah.
And Meg is always marvelous. So there you go.
You know,
Agreed.
Oh,
my
that's
grandmother
hilarious.
used the word marvelous all the time, and she had a very thick New Jersey accent, and she would say marvelous.
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 I'll have to try that next time. I don't know how that accent would work for me, but
Well,
well.
go ahead, Brenda.
Oh, I was just going to say, so excited to be here tonight and have you guys. I started to say on book club, but it's not really book club. It's our Friends in Fiction Takeover. So we were hoping that we could pose a few questions tonight because usually the authors are answering questions, and you guys probably don't get to answer a lot, and we usually field them for the authors. So let's see, we probably need to start with a question. Maybe Meg, would you be willing to start with your question?
Sure. I'm going to ask one of the standards from the show. What were the values
Okay.
around reading in your family when you were growing up? And how did that shape you?
Ooh,
Who wants to go?
I can take it.
I'll go.
But yeah, you go, Brenda.
And then, yeah, my family were not, they weren't big readers, but I found the library as probably a middle schooler, early middle schooler. And, that kind of changed everything because I could read about anything I wanted to and go anywhere I wanted to and be anyone I wanted to be. So it made a huge difference in my life to start reading at that age.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. For me, reading was a big part of my childhood. My mom was a teacher and a reading specialist, and my aunt was a librarian. So we would take weekly trips to the library. The library has always been my happy place, still is. I love the smell of books. And I've always been an avid reader. And my mom always let me read whatever I wanted to read. She said, if you're old enough to ask to read it and you want to read it, then you can read it. So
Oh, I love
that's
that.
how it was. I was reading big books when I was 8, 9. I've always loved to read.
Yes. Well, I've told this story before, but I also grew up in a house that didn't have books, and there wasn't reading, and it wasn't except maybe comic books. But I would get caught reading like the back of the cereal box and the back of a shampoo bottle and things, just because I could read. I could read these things. And then it wasn't until we had some neighbors that moved in that were both teachers. And I went into their house once and they had shelves and shelves of books everywhere. And I just was like, I'm home. I'm home. And it just something that was natural with me, that I was connected with it. And finally, when we went to school, read everything in the school library, and I was just hooked. So obviously, you know how the rest of the story goes and where I am today.
Love that. I love how different the answers are to this question every time we ask it. But my answer is similar to Lisa's because my mom taught kindergarten and was a reading specialist for 35 years in public schools. And then after she retired, she continued to teach basic skills to community college students. So she's been teaching people to read her entire life, starting with me. And I could read so early that I skipped kindergarten and we were broke growing up. So the library was like my haven because I could go in there and stock up and leave with a pile of books and thinking they were mine, and they were for a week or so. But yeah, I was an avid reader. And then when I was old enough to go to the mall with my friends, my favorite store, because again, we didn't have a lot. So I wasn't like shopping springing at Macy's like some of my other friends. I'd be like, let me know when you guys are done in the dressing room and we can go to B. Dalton's and I can pick out some paperbacks. I knew I had the budget for that. But yeah, definitely been a big part.
Isn't that, it's so interesting how important libraries are to so many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it makes such a difference. So Ron, would you like to ask us a question?
I would. Who was your favorite guest that they've had on the live show on Friends in Fiction?
Oh,
Ooh, that is so hard. There have been so many good ones. I think recently for me, Ron, you're gonna laugh at this.
I know.
Recently for me, and not for the reasons that you think, in the after show when Mateo was on, I can listen to him talk about Black Buck, his book, over and over. He was great. He was great. So I'll go with that for now.
I love it.
And yes, he's cute, but whatever.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
Hard to pick a favorite.
Okay. have no idea how to answer this question because there were so many and for so many different reasons,
Right.
that they were special. But I'm going to say, just because I learned so much about her background, I'm going to say Delia Owens
Yeah.
Ooh.
and the history behind, where the crawdads sing.
I'm gonna say from super recently, I'll say Nita Prose because she came on the after show. She wrote The Maid, and I thought we laughed from the second she came on the screen into the second she went off, and she was such a sparkling delight of a human being. And I'm kind of amazed at her story, having had an in-house job at a publishing company and knowing how many hours that entails, that she wrote that whole book in secret. She had no support. No one knew she was doing it, and she still did it. And it made me read the book. And so I thought she was a great guest.
Great. Yeah, this is pretty much an impossible question, and I know it. But I think
It
back to
is.
some of the early episodes, and something that just really struck me was Elizabeth Berg, who I absolutely adore and love. She's so
Oh,
kind
yeah.
and gentle, and she's just very sweet and supportive, and she just kind of fit the whole message of what Friends in Fiction is about for me. And I just really never forgot her being on the show. Of course, she's a friend too, but even that aside, I would have felt the same.
I say shout
Yeah,
out
I
to
feel like we need. Oh, sorry, Meg. What?
I was going to say a shout out to Martha Hall Kelly too, because just going back to the question,
Yes.
I felt like her answer to the values around reading and writing question was so touching. How she said that they grew up poor on Martha's Vineyard, and when the people would vacate the summer houses, they would leave all their stuff at the dump, including the books, and her mother would go over there and pull all the books out of the dump and bring them home. And it just moved me so much.
Yes.
There were just so many of those moments, though. It's really impossible to say. So we'll just say we talked about some highlights.
Some highlights.
Yeah, there's so many. I really loved just when it was the Fab Four shows too. When it was just
Oh,
the Fab
yes,
Four. I
yes.
love those episodes too. I do want to read one comment. Marie Christopher says, I am a public librarian and I appreciate your comments about libraries. We love librarians, so shout out to you, Marie.
It's good to know the feedback that you guys really like the Just Us episodes, because we had heard that from a few people on the road at the live events. And so we made a point, and I know we're going to talk about the fall season soon here, but we did make a point of including one or two of those in the new schedule.
You heard it here first, folks.
that's right.
Yes, and you want to have them all, but then you also want to go back to basics sometimes too, but it's a
So
balance.
my question is, what was your first job?
Like job, okay, I babysat first, but I don't know if you mean like a job where you actually had a paycheck and a boss. And
Yeah.
I worked at a snack bar on the walk in Belmar, New Jersey, which is the heart of fist pumping Jersey Shore territory. 16th Avenue and Ocean Avenue in Belmar, New Jersey. The snack bar was called Tabs, and that's where it was in the 80s.
That's hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. My very first one was like working at a little convenience store, mom and pop kind of place. But I also was a skate guard at the roller rink.
Of course you were.
Sure.
Of course I
I would love to go back and be a fly on the wall.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, there's pictures. There's not of that, but similar.
Oh, yeah. So that's it for me. Oh,
Oh, so babysitting for me too. That was early on, and having where I grew up, we were surrounded by farms and things. So I remember summer working for one of the farmers, and I would go behind the hay baler and we throw the bales into the back of the truck, and that was
Oh, Ron.
That's cool.
I couldn't do it now.
My first job was I worked at the mall and I worked at a shoe store called Foot Action USA, which is kind of like Foot Locker. And I thought I was so cool because I could sell all the tennis shoes. And one time Usher came into our store and everybody lost their mind.
Whoa.
He bought a bunch of shoes.
Talk
Yeah,
about
I remember that vividly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
Interesting answers on that too. Well, I'm going to take a little bit different twist on my question. So what is your all-time favorite musical group?
great. Ooh.
group.
Hmm. Ron is looking around like the answer is going to be on this one.
Can it, can
Probably
it
on
be
a
a
poster on the
solo?
wall.
Can it be a solo? Oh, I know, I can make it a group. Prince and the Revolution.
Nice. Well, for me, it's a tie between what's very predictable as Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And I just got tickets for the new tour and I did not pay $4,000 like all the stories you read. And I can't wait.
Yay!
Also, my husband and I are huge fanatics for the Foo Fighters, and we've seen them more times than I can
Oh.
count, into the 20s, maybe 30 times. I don't know. And we were absolutely heartbroken at the death of Taylor Hawkins recently. And we just
Wow,
love
that was so sad.
much, and we're trying to go to the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows if we can, but the tickets they went quick.
They did. They did. So mine would be more solo, but if I was to go with a group, I'll go with the group that I've probably seen in concert more times than any other. That would be Heart
Oh,
and
I
a Nancy
Ooh.
Wilson. I just adore them.
Nice.
Love them.
love them too.
That's awesome. Well, you know, Meg, you actually stole my answer, but I'm not surprised being that you're a Jersey girl because I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. But I'm going to say also, because that's already been said, the Eagles were one of my all-time favorites.
I love them. We just watched that. Have you ever seen the documentary? It's like a multi-part documentary about them. It's very good.
Yeah, they were just
Cool.
so talented. But anyway. Okay, Lisa, are we ready for, what are we ready for?
I think we got some book recommendations.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Ron, you want to kick us
Oh.
off with two?
Two. Okay.
Two.
Everyone loves your book recommendations, so we
Oh,
gotta,
they do?
yeah, we gotta
Well-
give you. And then also, someone wants to know where they can get that Read More Books banner that you have behind you.
That was a gift from Meg.
I'm so glad somebody finally asked because I feel like it's in everybody's background now. And
It is.
I thought people might be like wondering about it. So there's an amazing company out of Buffalo, New York called the Oxford Pennant, and they sell really funny, kitschy, edgy things, and also all sorts of cool pennants and banners, and they're all felt, cool, handmade, like excellent products, and it's just a fun company. If you check them out online, it's called the Oxford Pennant. Anyway, I
Cool.
bought them for Ron and the Fab Four for Christmas this year, so now they're in everybody's offices.
Yeah, we all put them up.
I have two comments I want to read. Meg, Christopher Swan says he's jealous about the Springsteen tickets. And Mary Kay Andrews said she was the dairy maid at the neighborhood supermarket. That was her first job.
Of course she was. I love it.
Of course you.
Ah, cheers to that.
Yes. Cheers.
We're not playing that tonight.
Milk, MKM.
We purposely did not pick a word to drink to tonight so me and Ron don't get too giggly.
We can focus.
Right.
Rhonda's like, don't put me in there.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Here we go. This first choice is actually going to be also our podcast guest a week from Friday.
Ooh.
Imagine during the pandemic, and I think if you all think about it, we were all in lockdown. There was like somebody who just got on our nerves. We tried really hard to not just be really cool and survive it all, but just somebody would always get on your nerves. Well, Ellen Meister has just come out. He's coming out with this book called Take My Husband. It's dark, it's comic. It's so much fun. Laurel works at Trader Joe's, and her husband he lost his job and he's kind of lazy. He still expects her to come home and cook dinner and clean the house. And he doesn't help her at all. And she's just kind of over it, but it's her husband and whatever. So one day she's at work and she gets a phone call that her husband has been in a car accident. So she gets in her car and rushes to the hospital. And she, all the way there, she's like, what if he dies? What if I get some money? How can my life change? What's going, up, 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 up. Well, she gets there and he's fine. But of course, the idea is stuck in her head. And she's like thinking, how can I make this happen without getting in trouble? So that's what the book is about. It's full of quirky characters. Her mom has a whole collection of creepy dolls, and all of these different people in her life are just so interesting and so fun. And it really goes down a dark path, but it's hysterically funny at the same time. So I can't wait to talk to her more about it. And August 30th is when this comes out. So pre-order.
Love it.
That sounds good.
Oh, you want two?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let's see, which one?
We give Ron the extra homework, Egg.
Well,
We'll
you
do
know, I got
one.
it anyway.
Yeah,
I got it
cheers.
anyway. So, we all last year fell in love with Wanda B. Morris and her book. What was it? I forgot.
All her little secrets.
All her little secrets, yeah, and we loved it. We had her on the podcast. I had her at the library. She's just so refreshing and such a great person and wonderful. But she's got a new book out coming out October 25th, and it is called
Yay!
Anywhere You Run. And I haven't finished it yet, but I've started it, and I think it's even better than the first book. And it's about two sisters in 1964 in Mississippi. There's some stuff that happens, and they kind of both have to run away for different reasons. One for legal reasons, and one out of shame. So it's all about their travels to these new places. And there's two sisters, Violet and Marigold is their names. And so it's going to be just it's going to be another thrill ride. It's going to be great. And it's gotten great reviews already from Lisa Unger. And I can't wait to finish it. So get that one pre-ordered also.
Well, Ron, we're on the same page because that was also my first pick. So all I'm going to add to that is, yes, you want to pre-order it. And I love Wanda. She's a local Atlanta author. So we can skip me this round because I second everything he said.
Sorry. We should have compared notes.
No, that was great. She gets two right.
That's awesome.
Like the spontaneity.
Meg, how about you?
So I'm going to recommend Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. This takes place in 1975 Baltimore, in a suburb of Baltimore. And Mary Jane is a rising high school freshman. It's the summertime. She gets a job as the nanny for a psychiatrist and his family who live down the street. And Mary Jane's family is super straight-laced, like super strict, very repressed household. And where she goes to work for the summer, let's just say, is not that way. And the doctor has one of his clients living with them for the summer who just happens to be one of the world's most famous rock stars. And the doctor is trying to get him clean off of drugs. And he moves in with his wife, who is a world famous movie star. And Mary Jane is living in this house with these people all day, every day, and then going home at night to her repressed household. And she can't tell anybody that of all the things she's being exposed to. And it's opening her mind and her heart to all sorts of things, and all sorts of stuff happens. And it's a really sweet coming of age story. It's very funny, it's heartwarming, and I just loved it.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Excuse me. My pick, I do not have a copy of the cover, but it is, I tend to be drawn to kind of techie books and books about bookstores, and this is no exception. Actually, I might be able to share my screen. Let me try to do that so people can see at least a picture of the book. The Banned Bookshop of Maggie Banks. Maggie goes to this little town called Bell River to help her best friend with her struggling bookstore, and she's envisioning, saving this wonderful bookstore with all its wonderful titles, and she finds out that the the literary society that's running the town doesn't want any, books written in the last century to be sold. And so she starts an underground book club and she sells the forbidden books out of the bookstore, and kind of crazy things happen to her as a result. So that's my pick. It's comes out November 1st, and it's written by Shauna Robinson. And I love the cover.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Okay, I think that it's high time we allow Meg to talk about the fabulous lineup that's coming up for Friends in Fiction this fall.
It's
Yay.
Meg, take it away.
Buckle up.
it's a doozy, y'all. I swear until this morning, things weren't completely and totally buttoned up, but they are now because I'm leaving for vacation
Yay.
tomorrow. I was like, let me please, Lord. But I'm just going to give you one sneak peek of who our season premiere guest is going to be. Thank you, everybody.
Yay.
Coming back. Yeah.
Don't forget Pirate Hat.
Get your parrots, get your Foo Fighters t-shirts, get your all your stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'll go through the season. So the first episode is August 17th, and it's a split episode. The first half of the show, we have Karen Slaughter, and then we have another Atlanta favorite who I know is watching live with us tonight, and that is Mr. Christopher Swan. With
Yay. Hi,
his
Christopher. Yay.
I don't have all the books yet in hand for fall season, Avi, but
I might have one if we'll see.
August 24th is episode 2, and we are having Tamron Hall as the Wicked Watch. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we can. She's a big one. And then the third episode, August 31st, we are having the 3 authors who are affectionately known as Team W. So Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White to talk to us about the Lost Summers of Newport. And then we also on that show will have Miriam Parker, who wrote a novel called Room and Board. Miriam is an editor at Echo, which is part of Simon & Schuster. And her sister is a publicist who has worked with several of the Fab Four. And we are super excited to welcome Miriam to the show. And then I will run through the rest of the list. We are having Christina McMorris. We're having Sarah Addison Allen, Lauren Denton. September 21st is a book that has just taken the world by storm, Remarkably Bright Creatures. We're having the author Shelby Pelt on. September 28th, we're having Elizabeth Strout to talk to us about her book, Lucy by the Sea.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And there's more.
Yeah, there's more. By popular demand on October 5th, it's going to be a Just Us episode with only the Fab Four, no guests. And we'll hear from Kristen about the re-release and the repackage of The Sweetness of Forgetting, and from Mary Kay about the paperback release of The Santa Suit. And then each of them will also tell everybody a little bit about their forthcoming 2023 books. And then we have, October 12th is Veronica Roth, who you guys might know as the author of the wildly popular Divergent series, and she's going to come talk about the novel Poster Girl. October 19th is Lisa Jewell. October 26th, together, Ariel Lawhon, Christina McMorris, and Susan Meisner to talk to us about the novel that they co-wrote together. Or is that a collection? Ron, is it a collection or a novel?
I think it's a novel, but don't quote me.
Yeah. And then an Italian novelist who is huge in Europe and not so much here yet, but we are about to change that. Her name is Santa Montefiore, and she wrote a book called An Italian Girl in Brooklyn. November 2nd, Lisa and Ron, we have Wanda Morris. November continues to be blockbuster back to back with Philippa Gregory, Lisa Unger. The November 23rd special is going to be our Thanksgiving special. And for that, we've decided also no author guests. And we are going to instead invite on some of our most beloved independent booksellers. And we are going to make the whole night a celebration of indie bookstores.
I love that.
Then we have Kevin Wilson, who you guys might recall wrote that book, We Aren't, what is it? Ron?
Nothing
We
to
Are
see here.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing
And his
to
new
see
one
here.
is called, Now is Not the Time to Panic. And we'll have Sheila Roberts on the after show to talk to us about her new Christmas novel. December 7th, we have Louise Penny, which is so super exciting.
That's huge.
It's very much bigger than that. And then we're also going to have a novelist named Ray Meadows on the after show to talk to us about her novel Winterland, which is about, I think it's about the Russian gymnastics team in the 70s, something. Yes. I think Kristen blurred that book. It sounds fantastic. And then our final show of the fall season is December 14th. It's a Christmas special, a Christmas spectacular, shall we say, and our guest will be Debbie Maycomer. So that's the fall.
Wow.
Ooh.
That deserves a round of applause. Meg, I know that you were going crazy putting this together, and you did amazing.
Thank you. It's been a lot, but I'm so glad when it's all done and we can announce it. And I now have a graphic that has all the names listed. And if anyone wants to shop early, the bookshop page for the fall season is already set up in the Friends and Fiction shop on bookshop.org. So if you go to our shop now, you'll see the very first list at the top. 22 guests, and all the books are loaded in there and ready for you to pre-order. So have at it. I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Oh, I can't either. The hearts are flying in the chat for the
I know everybody's
lineup.
going crazy. They're calling out all the authors. Great lineup. So exciting. So amazing.
Awesome.
Since you went through the lineup, Meg, can you tell us how do you guys go about picking the authors that'll be on the show and how much time goes into that? Like, how does that? And Ron, you chime in too, because I know for the podcast you do that. But I know some of the behind the scenes people are interested in how it all comes about.
Well, I want to interject a little story of our trip to Delaware to partially answer this question for Meg.
Oh, yay.
Meg was walking through the bookstores and she had her little note app open on her phone and she was writing down all these things, and she would ask people, do we want this? Do we want this? And so she made a big, long, amazing list of people from there. But that's only part of her story. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Meg, but I just love that you were doing that.
F&F wish list. It's very long.
That's cool.
We keep a grid on a Google Drive that we all have access to, and we share ideas, and everybody's always coming up with somebody they want to have. And so we just dump the ideas in there and then we sort it out. But we're also pitched by a lot of people, and there's a lot of authors who've been on who want to come back, and they email us or they email whoever it is they're most friendly with and say, would you guys please have me back or whatever, or would you please have me on for the first time? And then there's people that we really want and we pursue through directly, like email them directly, or we email their publicist or whatever. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of things, of all of us contributing ideas. We love getting ideas from our community too. I mean, I had a long talk with Barbara Wojcik, shout out Barbara Wojcik, and I think she took my question back to a little group chat, and then she ended up emailing me some more ideas, and a lot of them are already on that list that we've built on the notes app on my phone. But we added the ones that weren't, and so everybody's in the hopper for future consideration. Yeah, and then it's just a matter of like, it's a massive puzzle and trying to slide all the pieces in place to get everybody an assigned date. And I swear, I was looking at the grid today. I look at it every day, I think. But we could book the winter season tomorrow. There's so many great books that we already know about coming out in the winter. Fall was a challenge, I think, because there's so many big books. There was people we wanted who we couldn't get for whatever reason. There were things that just kept flying around, and there were people who said they'd rather do the podcast than the web show, or so there were people that were going to be on tour and they couldn't commit to the web show. So that's how we ended up with, a lot of folks, right, Ron?
Right. But I want to say too, that a lot of it is a testament to what the Fab Four and you, Meg, have built, because everybody wants to be a part of it now. Before it was like, please, 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 a little begging probably in the beginning, but now it's like, please have us. And so I just think that helps the roster grow, and some of these names that are just blowing my mind are on there.
Yeah. I mean, we do get told no a couple times here and there, but mostly it's an embarrassment of riches, I must say.
Well, yeah, you cannot argue with that lineup, and I'm sure you got a lot of suggestions too as you did the tour with the Fab Four there. And I had a question about that. We're going to do a game in a few minutes, but I had a question about that. You know, y'all had the listen to me, y'all. Y'all
Y'all.
had the tour of the last one was Rehoboth Beach, and you went to Ron's stomping grounds. And I was just curious for each of you, what is your most memorable moment from that tour?
Oh,
I'll go.
gosh.
I think from the Rehoboth trip.
Don't steal mine.
Oh, I don't know what this is. I hope I'm doing it. We had a dinner the first night. We went out Wednesday night.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had a signing at Bethany Beach Books, and I was really bummed that Kristen wasn't with us, but
Oh,
sad.
yeah.
Recovering from COVID. But one of the Rehoboth bookseller recommended this amazing restaurant. We went and had this blowout dinner, and our waitress had like a thick Eastern European accent. And towards the end of the meal, Mary Kay thought to ask her where she was from, and she told us she was from Ukraine. And she told us the most personal story about her family and the war and the way it's impacting them. It was just so impactful. I could not stop thinking about it. I woke up the next morning, first thing I thought of. And, you know, she said her father is 58 years old, and he can't leave the country because if you're between the ages of 18 and 60 and you're a man, you have to stay in case you're called up to fight. And she's like, what is
Oh,
he do at 58? And so now they're stuck there, and her mother can't leave, and she's over here working. She finally got her sister out. So her sister was coming over like then in the next few days to meet her. But she said she talks to her family all the time, and she's like, did you sleep last night at the bomb shelter or at your house? Like, and she was her neighborhood or elementary school, like all that stuff is like decimated. And I don't know. I mean, that's not a happy story from tour, but it's just a totally unexpected chance encounter with someone that you could never plan. And it really had a profound impact on me because, you know, you watch the war on the news and you see it and it feels a world away. And then you meet someone who it's directly impacting. And I think all of us were so moved, you know.
We were. And
wow.
I still think about it because she was just so, I mean, I think she, at first she was like, oh, do I dare talk about this? But then she kind of realized that we were like, we were in sync with her, and she was so forthcoming. And I still think about it and the impact. And she was having her sister come to stay with her, somehow got her to come out of the country. And it was just so like, we were like, yay, at least she had that. It was just, it brought it all home.
Totally.
Mm. Wow, that is powerful.
There were so many great moments. Mine was the next day, I think. And while we missed Kristen greatly, Meg did a great job of interjecting a lot of her thoughts into it. And we just had the best time. And Meg and I moderated, and we were alternating questions that we were asking everyone. And at the end of it, everybody that was in this giant room watching stood up and started clapping. We got a standing ovation. And it wasn't,
Oh,
and I think we all started choking up because the impact of it. It wasn't that, oh, we're so great, but whatever. But it was just the impact of readers and writers in one room, and just like so many places are not this way in the world right now. But there was just kindness in the room, and there was just a common bond, and it was just so meaningful and emotional, and just
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
I think that's the best part of these live events is hearing from people.
Mhm.
And so many of them talk about the impact Friends in Fiction has had. And one woman in Rehoboth stood up and said, like, she retired. I think she's a retired teacher, and she retired right before the start of the pandemic. And she was stuck at home, and she was never a big reader, or she had been at one point, but then wasn't. And then she found the show, and she said it just opened the floodgates, and she's been like reading nonstop ever since. And to hear those personal like testimonies like that is just, it's just really profound. It makes all the
Yeah.
hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears, you know, feel very much worth it. So we love hearing from the community, absolutely, and you know, keep
Absolutely.
the feedback coming.
oh, that's awesome.
Bad or indifferent, we want
I
to.
think I think that's what the whole Friends and Fiction community does for all of us. Because even for me and Brenda, I mean, when we were all in Savannah together, being with you guys, it was awesome. We had so much fun. but being in that theater the last day, you know, for the big presentation with the Fab Four, and me and Brenda were just in the audience, but we still felt the love for the book club. I can't imagine what the love was on the stage. And, you know, even when Kristen gave us a shout out and we stood up and like looked around, it was like I got emotional in that moment myself, because 2 years ago, we didn't have this. And now it's something that we can't live without. We have so many friendships and so many connections, readers, writers, librarians. It's a family. So that's the best part of all of it, I think.
It's been a real transformational experience, and I hear that time and again from our, you know, Friends in Fiction members. So we thank you for everything that you do. But hey, let's lighten it up a little bit. How
Hey.
about that? How's that for a transition? I know,
Good.
terrible, but we're gonna have a little fun now. We had Meg and Ron prepare little index cards with the 4 authors' names on them. So we're gonna ask them some kind of rapid fire questions and see what they think. So we're gonna ask you some questions, or maybe I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you have to hold up the card of the author who you think of. So let's get started.
I'm gonna ask them too.
I'm
Oh,
scared.
you're gonna ask them too. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll
have
kick
them
it
too.
off. I'll kick it off with a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, who is most likely to be late?
Oh.
Is that true?
Ron is not answering. Oh, you're in agreement. Woo!
I'm gonna get called into the office on Monday.
You are.
Yeah, well, we'll try not to get you in trouble. Who's most likely to lose their keys?
Oh.
For the whole.
Meg
the
doesn't
whole-
want to answer.
I'll say Patty.
Oh. Well, I was just thinking about the story in from the
Savannah.
hotel.
Yeah.
No. Well, she didn't lose them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
She
her
true.
didn't
fault.
lose.
That's
That's
true.
right. She didn't lose.
Through no
them.
fault of her own. Through no fault of her own.
Okay, who is most likely to sing karaoke? Oh,
I think I'm going Kristen.
Kristen. Oh, right. Maybe they
Well,
could do it together.
There may or may not be a story there that I can or can't tell you.
Kristen does claim to know every word to every New Kids on the Block song. So
Oh, that's true.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Who wakes up the earliest?
oh,
Really?
you think?
Well, I was going here again.
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely
She's
sent
an
the
hour
first one.
behind.
Oh, that's true. She sent the first.
True.
Okay.
I love the
I'm gonna-
reasoning.
I know. I'm gonna jump in here. Who drinks the most wine?
Ooh,
Hi.
it's a tie.
It is a tie. Just don't put me and Meg in that, in that
No.
equation.
Not,
Okay. Who who is the least likely to keep a secret?
Oh,
Megan's like,
don't.
I am in trouble. You're going on
Oh.
vacation tomorrow, Meg.
I honestly can say I don't think any of them.
I think they're all super trustworthy.
Yeah, they're super trustworthy, every one of
And that's the correct answer.
them.
Moving
Well,
right
it's the
along.
true answer too. So
Who's most likely to cry at a sad book?
Another tie.
I'm same.
Okay.
Same.
We know that MKA is not shy about letting a little F-bomb fly from here to, every now and then, as one does. But who would be second place in that the potty mouth cursing category?
Again, don't put me on there.
Or me? I'm totally good here, but yeah.
Well, if it was all there, I'd say Meg, but
Um,
We needed to include Ron and Meg as
Kristen, I don't know. There's not a lot of cursing kind of that goes on. There's,
so
I mean,
it's a
in the
distant second.
there is, but a funny story when the Fab Four were in New Jersey, which honestly was a super duper highlight for me to have them here in my stomping grounds, and especially the high school where we had the event was my arch rival high school from where I grew up, and
Wow.
it was fun. But they stayed in Asbury Park, right on the beach, and Patty gets up early and walks, and she was sitting on the bench on the boardwalk and texted me. She says, boy, they really love the F word around here. It's like the hate word. I was like, F, yeah. And then
you're in Jersey.
It's literally every other word in anybody's mouth that walks past me works into some sentence. And I thought that was really funny. Like it doesn't faze me around here. But
Well, I'd fit right in.
Yeah.
Last one. Who is the most adventurous when ordering food, or like most likely to try something they've never tried, order something off the menu they've never had?
Boy, that's hard.
It is hard. I think Kristen's probably the biggest foodie,
Ooh.
other than Mary, but I don't know. There's some diet restrictions involved that keep people.
Right. Yeah, there's some dietary things involved. So
You and Kathy are big foodies for sure.
Kathy.
But yeah, but there's
Yay.
Kristen, I feel like likes everything and would try anything.
Very cool. That concludes our Friends and Fiction Facts section of the evening.
And Ron and Meg are like, woo!
Well, we're fired, so
Goodness.
we're fired now. So thanks.
You can blame us. We took over. It's all our fault.
Well, we did want to take a few minutes, and I can't believe we're already at almost like 7 minutes till 8, but we wanted
Oh my
Ron
gosh.
to have an I'm sorry?
I just said, oh my gosh, I can't believe the time.
Oh, I know. And so Meg shared all that great lineup for the fall for the Friends in Fiction. So Ron, would you like to share some highlights, upcoming podcasts?
I would. So unlike the Wednesday night show, which is booked and that's a date, we can record anytime. So a lot of these people, their dates of that they're going to be dropped aren't set in stone necessarily. A few of them are, but I do want to point out that the episode that's up this Friday is so good. It's Dolan Perkins Valdez who wrote Take My Hand. And that was one of my recommendations in the book club like a long time ago. But Nancy Johnson, our very good friend, co-hosted with me. And it's a very thoughtful, meaningful, and timely book about 1973 in Montgomery, Alabama. And it's a story about a nurse who has to help these impoverished families with reproductive things and emotional. It's based on a true story. And this podcast episode, I heard it today. It's so deep and so meaningful. So don't miss that one. Then we also have coming up, I already told you that we're going to have Ellen Meister with Take My Husband. I can't wait to talk about that. And then after that, we're going to have Claire Pooley, who wrote Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting, which is a hysterical book about a woman on a train who people don't talk on the train until somebody chokes on a grape, and all of a sudden they have to interact, and it's all how it goes from there, and it's very fun. And then I'll just give you some names coming up. Brenda Novak will be coming up. We're going to have her on the podcast. Yeah, we got some. Meg did some like I don't know. She's got a magic magician's cape here going. And then Meg and I are going to interview We Are Not Like Them, just out in paperback, Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. It was a Good Morning America pick. And so we have this to look forward to. And then after that, I don't know if people remember Callie's Hot Little Biscuits Company in the South. If you're in the South, it's all over
Yes.
there. And there's a big story behind that, plus cookbook. So we're going to talk about storytelling through the cookbooks and through the food. And so the originator of that, Carrie, is going to come on and join us. And then this is where Meg's magic really, really happened. After that, we're going to have Tom Parada, who's like a huge name. Like I'm even like fangirl.
Oh my gosh,
His
that
new
is
book, Tracy
awesome.
Flick Can't Win. Harlan Coben just recommended this on the Today Show, and we've got him. And then we're going to have, I don't have it here yet, but we also have Emma Straub coming up. She's going to be joining us on the podcast to talk about her newest book.
Wow.
And here's the one I'm just really, really excited about. You might have heard of this guy. I don't know. How about Frederick Bachman?
Oh,
A Man Called Ove.
Nice.
All of the Beartown series. So this is the last book in the Beartown series. So he's going to be coming up. So there's lots. But I also encourage people that haven't listened in a while to go back and listen to the backlist, because there's so many great guests that we've had and so much fun and so much, like, it's like the Wednesday show. They sit down, they think they're just talking to somebody. They don't realize there's like, thousands and thousands of people that are going to listen to it, and they really open up. And it's like some of these secrets that we hear is like, oh. So I encourage everybody to go back and listen to old episodes too.
Awesome.
Wow. Drop the mic, both of
Right?
them.
Excited for Tom Perez, because I love his books, and now it makes me want to rewatch Election, because this
I
book
know.
sequel to Election. If you guys have seen the Reese Witherspoon movie, that's
Yes.
based on. And I'm excited for this too, Ron, because Christine Pride, one of the co-authors, I used to work with her at Doubleday way back when, and I just love when these people that I worked with, like Hanya Yanagihara, you guys know who she is, like, oh my God, like super successful now. And I'm like, I used to be Julie's assistant, or like,
Let's line that one up.
we used to be down the hall from each other, and now you've gone and written these amazing novels. But yeah, so it would be nice to reconnect.
And two of my favorite novels from the last several years she wrote.
Hanya, oh yeah, she's amazing.
Oh,
She's a wizard.
A Little Life.
Just cannot wait for Friends in Fiction Wednesday nights and the podcast. Awesome. Well, Lisa and I were hoping to do, while we were here, a little giveaway for those watching. And we wanted to give away, which I think I forgot to have with me. Oh, Lisa's got it. Okay. We are going to give away a copy of The Edge of Summer by Viola Shipman with a signed book plate. So we will choose, Lisa is going to choose a random winner based on those who answer this question correctly. And that is, which of the Fab Four authors has the next book coming out? Please answer in the chat. Meg, Ron, you're not eligible.
Fine, whatever.
Let's see. There is a bit of a delay. So while we're waiting on that, Kristen says that she wants to get on that and rewatch Election as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ron, we do have a question for you. We've had several questions for you about when you're going to do either a cookbook or when we're going to do our book club cocktail book, which.
Oh, well, you never know. You never know.
Okay, so the first person who answered correctly with the next book is Susan Seligman. Yay, Susan!
Yay, Susan!
Hey, Susan.
And the correct answer is Christy Woodson Harvey. Her book's coming out in April.
I like how Chris Swan entered.
So Susan,
That's
send
right.
us your
Get you a
send
copy
us
of
your address And you can
Mhm.
DM me or Brenda and give us your address, and we will make sure to get that book and sign plate out to you.
Well,
So now it's go ahead, Meg.
somebody answered MKA's Christmas book, but so I just want to clarify, she won't have a Christmas book until next Christmas. So
Right.
Santa Suit will come out in paperback this Christmas, but the next new Christmas book won't be till 2023. So in case anybody's
Yes. And now Brenda and I also have announcement. We
Woohoo!
need to go ahead and announce our book club picks for October, November, and December. So I'll go ahead and start with October.
I was hoping you would. That's your kind of book.
So in October, we are going to be having Stacy Willingham on to discuss Flicker in the Dark.
That's going to be good.
Yay!
Good,
I
good,
don't
good.
have the book with me, which I can't believe I don't, but
Oh,
we're very
it's
excited
over
about
there.
it.
It's over there. I have it over there.
I know. I have all these.
I know, right? It's getting harder and harder to
to
locate
keep them all
things.
together.
Absolutely. And I guess I'll announce November.
Yeah. I'll look for the cover I can pull up really quick. Well,
Okay. Our
While you're
November pick is The Sweetness of Forgetting with Kristen Harmel.
Yeah.
yay.
And that will be November 21st.
The new cover is beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is. Yep.
So it's
Okay, Lisa.
It's the 10-year
I'm sorry,
anniversary.
Meg.
I'm sorry, it's the 10-year anniversary of The Sweetness of Forgetting. So they're reissuing it and there's some new material and it has a brand new cover. And if you want to see that cover, visit the fall 2022 guests list on the F&F Bookshop on bookshop.org because that's the one that's featured there and you get to see it. It's really, really pretty.
And thank you for mentioning that, Meg, because that was one of the reasons that The Sweetness of Forgetting was going to be that November pick, because in honor of that 10th anniversary.
Yeah, we're so excited for that. It goes along with our Friendsgiving theme too, because Kristen includes some recipes in that book. So we're super excited for that. Really quick, I just want to share this is a flicker in the dark, and that is our October pick. So
Awesome.
it's a little, might be a little thrillery. And to close out the year, we are super excited. On December 19th, we will be doing The Perfect Love Song by Patty Callahan Henry.
Yeah.
Great book. I have it here somewhere. I would show you. Oh, it's behind me.
Now that's a game we need to play, is find the book. Someone yells out a book title and we all.
The first one to bring it to the screen wins.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
That would be kind of funny because I'd have to sprint to the other side of the room.
You need the reverse view on this.
Well, for those of you watching that are still hanging with us, we appreciate it. You've now stepped into the after show. And
That's right. It is afterwards.
fearsome foursome, I believe we're going to do one more round of book recommendations before we close out the night with our fabulous guests.
Yes, we are. Am I up
All right.
first?
John, you want to kick us off?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see if we can do this. So these are books that are coming out in 2023, and I'm a spoiled brat, and I get to read some of these books way, way ahead of time. And this is one that a friend reached out and asked if I would write something about it for the book. So I'm a blurber now. So this is last year's, it was a debut called Waiting for the Night Song by Julie Carrick Dalton, and it was a kind of a big splash, and it was a big debut, and it started this, not started, but it joined the ranks of these things that they're calling climate fiction, but it's really like thrilling stories, and I think she's really outdone herself this time with The Last Beekeeper.
Ooh.
And it's a
Very cool.
gorgeous cover, and it's about this woman whose name is Sasha, and the book goes back and forth from when she was 9, 10, and 11 years old to 21, 22, and 23, And she is the daughter of who's known as the last beekeeper. It's about a dozen years into the future, in the now time, and all of the bees have just decimated from the planet. There's no more bees. So of
Oh.
course, all of the things that we hear about bees that will happen have happened, and there's the crops are bad, and the government's overseeing all this, and so it goes from when she's a young girl, and her father is known as the last beekeeper, and he's serving time in prison because everybody thinks he did something to eradicate the bees. She's a violin player, and the early parts of this book are scenes that are just so vivid. And she's playing the violin, and her father teaches her that the hum of the bees in the hive are a perfect G, and she gets the perfect G on the violin, and the bees kind of come to her. And it's the musical rhythmic language. And later on, she goes back to her childhood home because she knows that her father has secrets that should have been told that would keep him out of prison. So she goes to this place, there's a bunch of squatters there. It's just this whole propulsive story about trying to find your way back, find your history, find your way home again. Because while she's there at the house, suddenly a bee comes and lands on her violin when she's an adult, and you don't know whether it's real or if she's imagined it. Just it's excellent. It's
Oh my
excellent.
gosh.
It's up for pre-order now, and you pre-order it. I'm telling you, this is such a great book. It's so
Wow.
well written, and Julie has way outdone herself.
My TBR mountain is exploding.
Oh, I'm going to be talking about this one a lot too. I mean, it's what a perfect book for for the spring when we're thinking about bees and stuff. There's so much in the book you go like, oh, why aren't we appreciating what we have now? Why aren't we taking better care of it? All told through this, and it's a thriller. This is a thriller. Above all that I just said, it's a thriller because I think they
Wow.
found a way to bring the bees back. Just amazing. Anyway, so now are you ready for the next one? Sorry.
Let me give you a
Yes.
quick comment from Christy Woodson Harvey. She says, Ron Blurber, I love Julie.
Oh, good! Yay! We'll have to get her in on the party.
Mhm.
So here we go. You ready for a cover reveal? I have a cover reveal for you.
Oh my gosh, I
Ooh,
forgot
Are
we
you
were
ready?
on
love
the cover
cover.
reveal. Yeah.
We love cover reveals.
Okay. So on May 2nd, 2023, we're all going to be able to get our hands on a book called The Secret Book of Floralia by one Patty Callahan. And here's the cover.
Yeah.
Here's the cover.
Wrong.
On.
It's great, isn't it? Oh, it's the best ever.
Where's the boo button? Do we have a boo button?
If Patty wasn't asleep,
Wah, wah.
sound effect. Okay, I'm gonna step in and say that I have a cover reveal for the Secret Book of Floralia, and I believe, don't hold me to this, but I do believe it may just happen on our season premiere episode on August 17th, maybe. And that will be my next book recommendation in addition to one other that I'm going to sneak in, but I'm reading the manuscript of Secret Book of Floralia right now. It is gorgeous, and you are all going to want to read it as soon as you can, so definitely pre-order it. It is quintessential Patty Callahan, Henry, and it's everything you loved about Surviving Savannah and Becoming Mrs. Lewis and Once Upon a Wardrobe all rolled into, and even her contemporary women's fiction, the way she writes about place and the environment, like the surroundings, the setting, and she just brings it to life in such a beautiful, poetic way. And then my favorite book that I read recently, and I can't stop talking about it, and I know many people in our community have already read it, is can you see that? The Gonko
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
by Stephen Rowley. And I know he was on the podcast, I think it was more than a year ago now, because it was
Yep.
Pride Month
Yep.
last year. But and ever since I listened to that episode, I was like, I've got to read that book. It's just been, sitting here in the back of my brain, like niggling at me, like I have to read that. I have to read that. And I finally did, and it is spectacular. It's so heartwarming. It's funny. It's all the same adjectives I used to describe Mary Jane. And I can't recommend it highly enough.
Let me just add though, I have read the book, and I cannot tell you how amazing this book is. Like it's it's like you said, quintessential Patty, but even more. So if you follow her right now on social media, she's posting pictures of the places that influence the setting in the book, and it's just like there's so much about the book and some secrets that I couldn't even guess. And in the end, I was like totally shocked, and I can't wait till she gets to tell you so much more about
So excited. I have to say, you gave everyone in the chat a heart attack. Everybody's like, "Oh, you tease Christy." Woodson Harvey said, "I was having a heart attack." I was like, "Don't reveal her cover," and she's laughing. But everyone in the chat's saying, "Oh no, oh no!" And Kristen Harmel says that she also got to read it. It was so good.
Yeah.
We're jealous. We want to read it. We can't wait.
Stay tuned.
I know.
Stay
And
tuned.
those photos Patty's been posting, gorgeous. Oh,
Just amazing.
Follow her on Instagram and Facebook if you don't already. I'm sure everybody here
Yeah.
does.
Definitely.
well, I'm gonna be really quick with my book recommendation because we are we are enjoying such a wonderful night, and I want to be able to get to the rest. But I don't have the book with me, but it is out. It came out earlier. No, it came out in July, called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by
Oh
Gabrielle Zevin.
yes.
And as I said earlier, I tend to gravitate toward bookstore, library books and techie
Mhm.
books. And this one is in the techie category, but it is kind of a love story too. It's a story of Sam and Sadie, who are creative partners in the world of video game design, and they become very successful at video game design, but not so much about each other. And that is all I will say.
Well, she wrote
Ooh.
That's good. That's good.
The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery. Did anyone read that? That was
Yes, that
was
unbelievable book.
it was the first, but
Yes.
it was fantastic. So
I
we're-
will also be I will be quick. Oh, go ahead, Meg. I'm sorry.
we're hoping to interview Gabrielle Zevin on either the podcast or the show. Working on it. Hashtag working on it is all I can say.
I love it.
Hashtag Meg will make it happen.
Don't doubt that.
Marvelous Meg. I'm going to be quick with my pick as well. As most of you know, I love witchy books, and one of my favorite people had her second book come out yesterday. It's called Wild as the Witch by Rachel Griffin. It's about an 18-year-old witch named Iris who accidentally enacts a curse that could have dire consequences. So she has to team up with a boy that she hates, or a boy that hates witches, rather. But, they have the slow burn aspect. And she has to make sure that her magic isn't unleashed onto the world. And I'm currently reading it now. I'm obsessed. It's an emotional story. It's kind of has a bit of everything: forgiveness, family, romance, witches, and elemental magic. I'm a fan of the elemental magic. I love all of the earth elements. And there's a really cool owl in the story as well, because Iris and her mother own a refugee for wildlife. So I'm going to share the cover quickly. And that's my pick. Whoops. I got it. I might be a little slow. It's the end of the night. Okay. There it is.
There it is.
Wild is the Witch.
Great cover.
So cool.
Yeah, she always has great covers. But it came out yesterday, so it's available wherever books are sold.
Awesome.
Oh, that's an awesome list. Oh my goodness. Well, I did want to before we wrap up tonight, I did want to mention a couple of things besides our upcoming book club picks. Our next book club session will be August 15th with Sally Hepworth and the Younger Wife. So we're really excited about that.
Great.
And Lisa, do you want to make the second announcement about what's happening?
On August 18th, which is a Thursday night, we will be having our book club 2-year anniversary celebration
Yeah.
with the Fab Four. Yay! So make sure you tune into the book club page for that as well.
I love
This
it.
has been
Thank you,
such a
Lisa.
fun night. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's over almost.
I know. But it has been just such a pleasure having you, Meg and Ron, here tonight and sharing some of our upcoming information and some behind the scenes stuff. And of course, we had our serious moments and our funny moments, but we thank you so much for being on tonight and taking part in our happy hour. And I just want to say a final cheers to you.
Here's to you.
And thanks so much.
And
And I'd like to also give a thank you to the Fab Four for letting us take over the Friends in Fiction page and trusting us with their page, because we loved it and we love all of you guys for tuning in. So
Into that.
All
Well,
right,
But
I'm
I'll-
going to say a cheers again.
yes.
cheers.
thank
And
you.
cheers to the two of you for
Yes.
everything you've done. You're at 13.5 thousand members and growing. So anyone out there, if you're not a member of their group, please join. They
Yeah.
do amazing things and it's so much fun to be here.
Yep. Join the
Thank
book
you.
club, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks
We
so
like-
much. Night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.